Welcome to Midnight Story. The call begins the way all emergency calls do. With breathing, not screaming, not crying, just breathing, slow, controlled, almost polite. The dispatcher clears her throat, adjusts her headset, and gives the line she's said thousands of times before. 911, what's your emergency? There's a pause, long enough that she checks the screen to make sure the call hasn't dropped. Then a man speaks. I need to report a murder. His voice is calm, too calm, the kind of calm that makes trained ears lean forward. Okay sir, the dispatcher says, already typing. Where did this happen? Another pause. 5 years from now. The dispatcher stops typing. She smiles, just slightly, the way people do when they think they've misheard something. She's dealt with drunks, prank callers, people high on fear, grief, or something stronger. This doesn't sound like any of those. I'm sorry, she says carefully. Can you repeat that? The man doesn't raise his voice. Doesn't laugh. Doesn't apologize. It hasn't happened yet, he says. But it will. And when it does, you'll wish someone had listened. The dispatcher glances to her left. 2 other operators are taking calls. One is arguing with a hysterical mother. The other is walking someone through CPR. Real emergencies. Real time. Sir, she says, keeping her tone neutral if this is a joke. It's not, the man interrupts. Still calm. Still steady. A woman named Elena Morris will be killed in a white house with green shutters. There's a maple tree in the front yard with a split trunk. The address doesn't exist yet, but it will. I'm calling so you can stop it. The dispatcher's fingers hover over the keyboard. How do you know her name? She asks. Another pause. I was there, he says. After. The call lasts 6 minutes and 42 seconds. By protocol, the dispatcher logs it as a suspicious call with possible mental health concerns. There's no address, no immediate threat, no actionable crime. The recording is saved, archived, and buried beneath thousands of other strange voices that come through emergency lines every year. No one is disciplined, no one is warned, no one follows up. The call disappears. For 5 years. Until the house is built. Until the tree grows tall enough to split. Until a woman named Elena Morris dials 911 with shaking hands and never gets the chance to finish the call. Detective Aaron Cole hears the recording at 3:17 in the morning. He's alone in the precinct, the kind of alone that only exists in police buildings after midnight. The fluorescent lights hum. A vending machine clicks in the distance. Coffee sits untouched beside his keyboard, long gone cold. He's been a detective for 17 years. Homicide for 12. He doesn't believe in gut feelings or fate or ghosts. He believes in paperwork, patterns, and people making the same mistakes over and over again. But when the voice on the recording says, a woman named Elena Morris will be killed in a white house with green shutters, Cole sits back in his chair. Because Elena Morris is dead. And she died 2 nights ago. Same house. Same shutters. Same tree. Cole scrubs a hand over his face and listens again. Then again. He slows the audio down. Enhances it. Not because he expects hidden messages, but because his brain is refusing to accept what his ears are telling him. The timestamp on the call is real. The call ID is real. The dispatcher who took it still works for the department. Her name is Rachel Nguyen. She doesn't remember the call at first. Cole finds her in the break room the next morning, staring into a paper cup like it might give her answers. You took thousands of calls that year, he says gently. I know that, but I need you to listen to this. She listens. At first, she frowns. Then her expression changes not to fear, but to recognition. The kind that crawls up your spine slowly, like your body knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. He was calm, she says. That's what I remember now. He didn't sound crazy. Cole watches her closely. You didn't flag it. There was nothing to flag, she says defensively, then softer, no address. No imminent threat. And people say things. All the time. She pauses the recording. Detective, we get calls from people who think they're prophets. Or time travelers. Or angels. If we treated everyone like it was real, we'd never sleep. Cole nods. He understands that. He really does. But that doesn't explain why the caller knew a woman's name 5 years before she moved into that house. Elena Morris was 32. A physical therapist. No criminal record. No enemies that anyone could find. She moved into the neighborhood 18 months ago after a divorce that her friends described as quiet but heavy. She was found in her kitchen. No signs of forced entry. No robbery. The knife came from her own drawer. The kind of case detectives hate. Because nothing screams. Everything whispers. The only thing that doesn't whisper is the 911 call. Cole requests the original audio file. Not the compressed archive version, the raw data. He sends it to forensics. Audio analysts clean it, isolate background noise, enhance frequencies no human ear would normally focus on. What they find doesn't make sense. In the background of the call, beneath the man's voice, beneath the silence, there's a faint sound. Traffic. Not city traffic. Not horns or sirens. A single car passing slowly over gravel. The kind of gravel used in suburban driveways. The kind that didn't exist at that location 5 years ago. Cole drives to the house that afternoon. The maple tree stands exactly where the caller said it would. Split down the middle, healed just enough to look intentional. Like a scar. He walks the perimeter. The driveway crunches under his shoes. Gravel. He closes his eyes for a moment, then opens them again. This case isn't asking who killed Elena Morris. It's asking how someone knew she would die. And that question is far more dangerous. Because if one person could see this coming, the voice doesn't belong to anyone in the system. That's what forensics tells Detective Cole 2 days later. No match in criminal databases. No match in prior 911 calls. No match in parole records, DMV audio, or court transcripts. The voiceprint analysis comes back clean in the worst possible way. Not erased. Never recorded before. Cole sits in the interview room, staring at the waveform on the screen like it might blink first. He's seen criminals change names, faces, even fingerprints. But voices leave traces. They echo in places people forget to clean. This one doesn't. The analyst clears his throat. There's something else, though. Cole looks up. The caller knew when to stop talking. What does that mean? The analyst scrubs the timeline back a few seconds. Most people on emergency calls fill silence. Nervous talk. Breathing. Swallowing. This guy didn't. He spoke only when the dispatcher was ready to hear it. Like he knew her rhythm. Cole leans closer to the screen. You're saying he understood dispatch training? I'm saying, the analyst replies carefully. He sounded like someone who's listened to a lot of these calls. Or been on this side of the line. Rachel Nguyen doesn't like that theory. No, she says immediately when Cole brings it up. I would remember him. We remember our own. Not accusing, Cole says. Just asking. She folds her arms. Then asks something else. So he does. He asks about Elena Morris. Rachel hesitates. Just a fraction of a second. Cole notices. He always does. I didn't know her, she says. Not personally. But I answered a call from her once. Years ago. Cole stays silent. Lets the space do the work. She called about a domestic disturbance, Rachel continues. No violence. Just fear. She said someone had been inside her apartment while she was asleep. No forced entry. No. Did you send officers? Yes. They found nothing. Cole nods slowly. Do you remember what scared her? Rachel closes her eyes, searching memory. She said she felt watched. Not followed. Not threatened. Just observed. Cole feels something settle uncomfortably in his chest. Do you remember when this call happened? Rachel shakes her head. But it would have been around the same year as the other one. The future call. That night, Cole pulls Elena Morris's phone records. The domestic disturbance call is there. Logged. Closed. Unresolved. But there's something else. A number she called repeatedly over the last 6 months. Always late at night. Always for less than a minute. Sometimes for only 10 seconds. The number doesn't belong to a person. It belongs to a disconnected government line. One that was shut down 5 years ago. Cole drives to Elena's house again. He stands in her kitchen, looking at the place where she died. He doesn't imagine violence. He imagines routine. A woman washing a mug. Maybe thinking about sleep. About work in the morning. About nothing important. That's when people are most vulnerable. He notices the calendar on the fridge. Most days are blank. One date, 6 months ago, is circled in red. No note. No explanation. Just a circle. Cole photographs it, then checks city records. On that date, the city approved the final zoning permit for this neighborhood. The house became real on paper that day. Cole feels a chill. He takes the recording of the 911 call home with him. Listens to it in the dark, headphones on, lights off. He listens not as a detective, but as a human being. The caller never says he wants police to prevent the murder. He says they'll wish they had listened. There's a difference. Cole rewinds to the end of the call. Rachel's voice, "Sir, is there anything else you want to add?" The man answers, "Yes. Tell her I'm sorry, couldn't change it." Cole freezes the audio. "Tell who?" He whispers. That line was never flagged. Never transcribed. It was buried in static. The next morning, Cole visits the zoning office. The clerk pulls records, annoyed but compliant. Cole scans the names until one makes his pulse jump. Consultant. Temporal risk assessment. A department that doesn't officially exist anymore. Defunded. Dissolved. Scrubbed. One employee name remains unredacted. Aaron Cole. 5 years ago. Before homicide. Before the divorce. Before the insomnia. Cole sits down hard in the chair. He doesn't remember working there. But the signature on the form is his. That night, he dreams of a phone ringing. When he wakes up, his phone is in his hand. And it's dialing 911. If you are new my channel, please subscribe and press bell icon. Calm down. Take a slow breath. Close your eyes. Sweet dreams. Good night.